Hi guys, welcome to Counterpoints. My name is Connor, and today I'm going to talk to you about how Noah Samsen is a grape and terror apologist. But first, if you liked the video, remember to like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment for the common gods. Also, if you want to catch me live, I will be over at the Valor Media Network 5 days a week from noon to 5. There, I'll be breaking down some content from some of the worst actors in alternative media, and I would be honored if you would join us. For the uninitiated, Noah Samsen is a wildly popular BreadTube video essayist. If you don't know what that means, it means that a lot of young people watch his videos. He is a socialist, and he reads scripts for hours at a time with a dry, snarky voice. Recently, over at Valor Media Network, I had the displeasure of watching his video titled The YouTubers Who Backed a Genocide. In the video, he spends 45 minutes describing the horrors of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, then he spends 15 minutes vaguely tying it to the content creators Ethan Klein, Destiny, Mutahar, Turkey Tom, and Lonerbox. While he's accusing Ethan Klein and his ilk of terror apologia, lies of omission, burying the lead, and sanitized language, I would say that he is guilty of the same. In the introduction, he asserts that Ethan Klein lied about Hassan Piker's supporting terrorism and terrorist groups and lied about him denying sexual assaults on October 7th, and that it is ridiculous to say that Hassan, who is simply a small anti-genocide creator, is prolonging the conflict. Noah Samsen accuses Ethan and his ilk of doing terror apologia for Western and Israeli forces, for lying through omission, for burying the lead, and using sanitized language. There's a few simple problems with this, mainly that everything Noah Samsen accuses Ethan Klein of, he himself is guilty of. In the video, Noah Samsen shows the Palestinian side of the story. I have no beef with that, but he does show war crime after war crime, bombing after bombing, and abuse after abuse of what he calls the Israeli occupation forces. This is all to support the narrative that Israel is conducting a modern Holocaust. Noah then continues to show how there are very few Israeli peace activists who support a cessation to hostilities or a pro-Palestinian message, insinuating that 97% of Israelis support said Holocaust. Noah further makes equivalent the operations of uniformed forces operating under a rules of engagement, equivalent to what he calls the armed resistance of the Palestinians. Noah omits and sanitizes the actual actions of October 7th, including the intentional slaughter of 1,000 civilians by guns and knives and the abduction of hundreds of Israeli civilians. Even if you accept this narrative about the Israeli genocide, which I don't, even if you believe that Israeli civilians are indistinguishable from their armed forces, which I don't, even if you believe that military armed forces operating under rules of engagement are the same as terrorists, which I don't, you haven't refuted that Hassan Piker or Noah Samsen himself are political extremists who support terrorism and terrorist groups. You've actually just logically and rhetorically supported terrorist activities and terrorist groups through your advocacy. Noah provides the mental framework necessary to hate the state of Israel, to make no distinction between its civilians and its military, and to attack these people with whatever means available. He intentionally ignores that Hamas militants attacked a concert of civilians and butchered, raped, and kidnapped young men and women because that might upset his narrative. He ignores the fact that Hamas militants were proud to post videos of them decapitating foreign workers with garden implements because that might upset the narrative. He ignores Hamas militants taking the corpses of young women and parading them through the streets like hunting trophies because that might upset the narrative. He ignores the fact that civilian men, women, and children were shot, stabbed, and burned to death inside their homes because that might upset the narrative. He talks about how both Hassan and himself support the heroic resistance of the Houthi rebels in Yemen, neglecting to mention the fact that this heroic resistance is shooting missiles into random commercial vessels, 99% of whom aren't even related to the United States or Israel. That's just the terrorism support. We haven't even gotten to the rape apologia. Noah Samsen, like most far leftists, either doesn't have the ability to read or believes his audience doesn't. And so while he's debunking Ethan Klein's claims of rape on October 7th citing a UN report, he simply states that the UN report denies the rapes. There's just one problem with that. Even the text he shows on screen doesn't say that. The text he shows on screen states that there is, quote, reasonable grounds to believe that conflict-related sexual violence occurred at several locations across the Gaza periphery, including in the form of rape and gang rape. There is also credible circumstantial evidence which indicates sexual violence, including genital mutilation, sexual torture, and cruel, inhuman, and degrading treatment. Noah Samsen asserts that the UN report denies mass rape on October 7th, but that's not even what his own page says. It says that in order to establish the scope of the occurrences, a further investigation would be required. It shouldn't be surprising to me that a tanky propagandist is willing to do apologia for rape and terrorism in a video supposedly debunking another tanky propagandist doing apologia for rape and terrorism, but here we are. The last 15 minutes are used to take all these issues and lay them at the feet of Ethan Klein, Destiny, and the commentary community, but I think everything Noah Samsen has accused others of, he himself is guilty. Noah accuses opponents as doing terror apologia. Noah does terror apologia in this video by morally justifying the slaughter of Israeli civilians and morally justifying terrorism as a form of justified resistance. Noah accused his opponents of lies of omission. Noah Samsen commits lies of omission around the brutality of the October 7th attacks, the rapes that happened on that day, and Houthi terrorist attacks. Noah Samsen accuses opponents of using sanitized language for Israel in the United States. He does so on behalf of Hamas and the Houthis. Noah Samsen says that Ethan Klein lied about Hassan Piker ignoring the sexual violence on October 7th. Noah Samsen mischaracterizes evidence of sexual violence on October 7th that he is then dumb enough to show on screen. So in summary, Hassan Piker and Noah Samsen are massive terrorist and rape apologizing pieces of garbage who make the world a worse place. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Join us at patreon.com/counterpoints to support more content, and join us live over at Valor Media Network from noon to 5 Monday through Friday. I appreciate you. Catch you in the next one.